Are you a musician interested in improving your performance? Welcome to Notes on Jazz. I'm your host, Keith Davis. If you want to learn more about jazz improvisation, harmony, and composition, or just want to improve your piano skills, this is the place for you. We'll be hosting interviews with fellow musicians, offering tips and techniques on study and practice, and lots of other cool stuff. Whatever instrument you play, or if you're a vocalist, you will find something helpful and interesting here. So come hang out with us at Notes on Jazz. Hey, I'm very happy to have my first jazz teacher, Ted Howe, here with me today. I first met Ted when I was about 16 or 17, and actually I was studying with one of his other students, Donna Banks. Remember Donna Banks?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after a few months, Donna sent me to Ted. She said, you need to go see Ted. And I ended up studying with Ted for about 3 years. And I'm happy to have you here, Ted. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thanks for bringing me in, man.
Yeah.
Paying my plant here and my hotel. It's great.
I like I said, I found out about you from Donna, and I used to go every week, drive to that music store, whatever that music store was near that mall. I can't remember the name of the mall either.
North DeKalb Mall.
Yeah, North DeKalb Mall, right?
Yeah, man, it was. I forget the name of the store myself now.
Yeah.
Again, Max owned it. Guy named Max.
Yeah. I remember that.
With the store.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So
anyway. When you started with me, how old were you?
16 or 17. I can't remember, but around 16, maybe
you were still in high school then, right?
Yeah, I was still in high school. Yeah, I was maybe a fresh sophomore or junior. I can't remember. Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago, man. Yeah, a long time ago. I was a kid, man. You were a kid. You must have been, what are you? You're like 20 years older than me. I think you were in your late 30s at that time, probably.
So, no. Oh, well, yeah. It was the 70s, right?
Yeah, late 70s. Yeah, 76, 77, maybe 76, yeah. I think. Yeah.
So I was,
yeah.
I'm way older than more than 20 years old. How old are you now?
I'm 63.
Oh, I'm 83.
Oh, okay. So there you go, man.
20 years.
You don't look a day over 82, man.
Yeah, thank you. You get up in the morning, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I know.
I shake my head, go, yeah. Maybe I dreamt I was 50 again or something,
Yeah, right.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I got another teacher that's 96, man.
96. That's great.
Yeah. It's crazy. Still kicking,
That's good.
Yeah. So anyway, I know I don't know how long you'd been in Atlanta, but I don't think you'd been there that long, but you moved from Boston and you used to teach at Berklee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at Berklee for about 7 or 8 years, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Something like that. I was with a singer back then, a guy named Frankie Randall.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You told me about that. I remember, yeah.
Pretty well-known singer back then. His career didn't work out the way he wanted it to, but so I was going out with him and coming back and teaching at Berklee, and gone more than teaching at Berklee more than I was gone.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of great people, man, in my classes. Like it was like the who's who of who are the big stars today. Like John Schofield and Jan Hammer and John Abercrombie, all these guys, the whole of Barbara family.
Yeah, sure, man.
All of my classes, and I'm going, and they were playing their brains out. Bob James, somebody going, Ernie Watts.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was nutty, man.
Yeah.
Miroslav Vitos.
Wow.
Did I say Jan Hammer too?
Yeah, I think Jan Hammer. Well, yeah, I think you did. Yeah, you told me a funny story about Jan Hammer, man. I remember you told me you were out somewhere with Jan Hammer and drinking beer.
Yeah,
and he said something to you like, if Chick Corea and Herbie and Keith died tomorrow, I'd be the best jazz pianist in the world.
Yeah, I never forget that.
Yeah.
He was full of himself back then. They say he was young. God.
Yeah.
I think he was 20 or something. But I can tell you a quick story about that.
Sure.
This happened later than that. This happened first. It's a story I told you many years later. I was living in Atlanta. He made a record with Elvin Jones called Merry-Go-Round.
Okay. Yeah, I think I had that record.
You do? Okay.
I think I did, yeah.
And this Chick and Jan on the same album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I forget who the rhythm section was, and they were playing together and solo and everything else, and keeping in mind what he said to me a few years before this recording was made.
Uh-huh.
We finally it came out, we listened to it, and I forget what the first tune was, but it was something fast, something neat, and Jan was playing exactly the same with Chick, that you could not tell who was playing, lost track of who was playing. When the guys are trading eights or 16s or whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
you hear a different approach from the
Yeah.
film. Well, no different approach. It was like he played seamlessly, exactly like Chick Corea. So
Wow.
he was right what he said to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I got to know him real well after that.
Yeah.
And maybe just before the Mojave knew, and he said he didn't want to be a jazz piano player.
Oh, wow.
He said he thought he was, as good or better than all the other guys. He was right. I don't think the world will ever know how good he was because he never
Yeah.
did jazz recording.
Right.
But he used to come to my studio at Berklee, man, to sit down and play for me, and he was, like a kid. So where the hell does it come from?
Wow. Yeah.
Like Errol Garner, he played like Errol Garner.
Yeah.
Like we used to go hear him play at a club in Cambridge, right near Harvard University.
Uh-huh.
It was a ball ago there. He played like Art Tatum.
Wow. That's just crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, he was a very talented dude, man. He's still
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, he must still be around. Yeah.
He never pursued a jazz career. He didn't want to do that. And
Yeah.
he went up on that Miami Vice thing for years,
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know about that.
Oh God, yeah. That's why he just stopped touring and stopped all the stuff. He made so much money doing that and did a bunch of movies.
Wow.
Built a studio in upstate New York and comes in once and plays once in a while. Every few years, he'll come in Manhattan and play somewhere and retreat again.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him for quite a while now. Last time he came to Atlanta with his own group. I can't remember when it was, maybe the late 70s. And it was a trio. And we hung out. I went to the gig and everything. That's the last time I heard from him,
Yeah.
But anyway, I was teaching at Berklee and it was interesting because I was fresh out of the Army, man. I was in the Third Army Band. That's how
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. That's another thing. I never heard that before.
Yeah, I was at the Third Army Band in Atlanta for it, and my best friend and I did it together, and we wound up not having to go to Vietnam. We wound up in that band for a couple of years.
Wow.
I was producing a radio show a week for Radio Free Europe, and we did all kinds of parties, and it's a headquarters post.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of generals and offices there.
Uh-huh.
And so there was a lot of activity at the golf course and the country clubs. We'd play gigs all the time. I was even some of the generals' wives,
Wow.
kids. Yeah, so I got out of the Army. I had a lot of experience. It was 2 years of playing with I had to play for the men's choir. I had to write for the concert band and the marching band. I had to write for a big band, a couple of small groups.
Wow.
Then I had to play all these darn gigs. All these gigs would come up. You got to go downtown and play. So when I came back to Boston, well, after I finished up out of the Army, I didn't realize how prepared I was to go out and get gigs and stuff. I just thought this is the way everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wound up. I was there about maybe back home 2 or 3 months, and I was teaching accordion in a town just south of Boston called Brockton. I don't know if you ever heard of Brockton.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It used to be the shoe manufacturing city in the country that, all the big shoe companies made their shoes there, not in China back then. So I was teaching accordion and I had a pregnant wife. And a couple of studios down from me was a other piano player. I just happened to walk in one day and I heard, this guy playing some nice stuff. So what the hell? I knocked on his door and I met him. His name was Jerry Ryder. And make a long story short, he was a great piano player and he had the gig at a place just near the airport in Boston called the Surf Supper Club. Remember what supper clubs were? People went out to dinner and saw a show and.
Yeah. I've been. It's kind of. I think it's a little before my time, but I have seen some of that. Being on the road and stuff.
But back then, people didn't go to baseball parks and big, huge amphitheaters to see people. They went to theaters, and they went to supper clubs. Almost every major city in the country had a couple of supper clubs.
Yeah.
Even then, when they had the supper club at the Hyatt for years. So anyway, he had the gig there in the band, and he was the piano player for the band. They had big name people in Sinatra one week, someone
Wow.
else next week. It was really, really great.
Yeah.
So we got to know each other and hang out, and I took a few lessons from him, and he was a really, really accomplished guy. And then one day I get a call from the band leader at the Surf. And he said, I got your name from Jerry Ryder. He's very sick. He can't make the gig tonight. Can you come out and work with us? And, I'm going like, well, what do you mean? Tell me. Because I've heard of the club,
Yeah.
You ever heard of Dick Contino?
What's the name again?
Dick Contino.
No, I don't know that name. No.
He's the world's greatest virtuoso accordion player.
Okay. Okay.
He was a heartthrob. The women loved him. He was a handsome guy, about 6 foot tall, long hair in the 60s, and played this damn thing to play the shit out of it,
Yeah, that's all right. You can say whatever you want on this podcast, man.
So he was the act. So I asked who was the act, and he said Dick Contino. And I said, the accordion player? I said, yeah. It's okay. So I this is like 3 or 4 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
So I just put my suit on and jumped in the car and drove out. And I met with Contino, and he had the piano book, was about looked like this.
Yeah.
And he had the show all laid out, and we didn't really have to play anything for him. He just kind of showed me, what was going on with it all. Filled with notes and breaks and fast tempos, it wasn't jazz, like.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Changes every 4 seconds. You're breathing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometimes you go back, So that was the challenge that I could read it all, because I did a lot of reading I was in the Army. It was nothing that was intimidating me, but it was just the tempos, Anyway, I got through it. I got through the first show, and there were horns and everything in the band. There was a whole band behind him, like 18, 20 pieces,
Wow.
And the leader of the band came over. He was hugging me. A couple of the guys come over, and I'm going like, I got to do this again. It's like 2 shows.
Yeah.
Second show, and then I wound up doing the whole rest of the week because the piano player Jerry got so sick he couldn't come in.
Yeah.
So this was on like a Tuesday, Wednesday. I did the whole week.
Right.
And then unbeknownst to me, this is like being in the right place at the right time. Like when people come out here
Yeah.
and sit in the drugstore and hope to get discovered,
Yeah. Right.
It was like just at the right time that I got this call from the band leader again, a few weeks later, and he said, we had to let Jerry go. Something happened. I don't know what happened, but he says, you want the gig? And I said, what? And he said, let me know. We loved the way you played. And that was a hard show. If you can play a Contino show, which isn't the most musical thing in the world, but it's a very, as far as those kind of shows go, it's a high level show as far as the musicianship.
Right.
So I took the gig, man, and this is how I started my career in this supper club, not a jazz room,
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to me, all the guys that were in the band, the orchestra, I got to meet a few of them, but they're all Berklee teachers. Herb Pomeroy,
Yeah.
Laporta, Dick Johnson, Phil Wilson, Paul Fontaine, Jimmy Mosher, Lenny Johnson. It was like the hierarchy of Boston jazz.
That's awesome, man. I was on the Artie Shaw band. Dick Johnson was the band leader, man.
Yeah.
He was great, man. What a virtuoso he was, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to write changes down for me all the time,
Nice. Yeah. He was a great guy. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
So I got the gig, and this was totally different than anything I'd done in the Army. But there's a lot of other nuances to it we don't have to go through. Then I started doing a little conducting because some of the acts, we had opening acts, 2 acts, and then we had the main guy, the lady. So those first 2 acts, someone had to wave their arms around and cut the band off and stuff. So I had to wind up doing that. So as the years went by, I was there like 2 or 3 years. Like all the big names back then: Buddy Greco, Vic Damone, the four freshmen, I mean, just Marilyn May, just a ton of people. Henry Davis Jr., just I got to work with all those people, you know.
That's great, man.
Meantime, I'm getting yelled at and screamed at by all the teachers, you know, from Berklee, because I really didn't belong there yet. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
even
yeah.
over my head. It was like, and they helped me like crazy because between the shows, and I tell the story to my students a lot. Between the shows, we would play some, you know, semblance of dance music, where basically we just play tunes.
Right.
People took it was about 30 minutes and then another break, and then they did the second show. So I always dreaded that because, you know, nobody had any music. Everything was fake.
Right.
Dick Johnson would stand up and go like this. Could you see my back? You know, he'd have his fingers up in the air. On the right hand, that meant the right sharp key. This is black key.
Gotcha.
And he wouldn't tell you what tune he's going to play. Just raise his hand. You know, it's B flat. Okay, so I did B flat, and start. I don't know what he's going to play. Oh, it was like, and they start playing something like, you know, what's that tune, everybody? The ballad. I'll think of it in a minute. Lush Life, something like
Yeah.
Lush, you know.
Yeah, right.
And like, I get to the bridge, or I have to stop playing. I have the bass player would start telling me the changes, you know.
Yeah.
So they knew I didn't know, you know, tons of tunes. These guys were already in their 30s and 40s back then. So they've been around for 20, 30 years.
Right.
But what they used to do, what Dick used to do, is if I called a tune, he called a tune and I couldn't play the bridge, I just lay out. At the end of the set, the cats would get off and they took napkins. They had napkins up on there with the horns and stuff, and they would just put them in the piano. Changes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It wound up like I had to clean the piano bench out about every 6 weeks. It's filled up with little napkins, table napkins with changes on them from
Wow.
tunes.
That's great, man.
So I took them home, and before I went to bed, I'd sit there and either memorize them by looking at them or play them a little bit and wake my wife up at 1 a.m. And they liked that. They liked the fact that I took it seriously, like, hey, man. And I played them like they wanted, and they showed me things with, don't ever do this. I remember Dick used to say, don't play the 13 when you're in a dominant chord, when you're in a minor key. It's just a major third. Of course, that doesn't mean anything today, but, you know, they didn't like to hear like a minor chord. They'd hear that F sharp. It sounds like the third of the key of D.
Right, right.
Nuances like that. So I still have most of the napkins stuffed away in storage.
Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah. And then what happened?
I want that.
Yeah, that's how I learned the tunes, you know, and very rarely did I have to say I haven't got it done yet, you know, but because I had papers to, you know, correct and stuff to do for the school. Plus, you know, I had a pregnant wife and very busy back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And then about 6 months into the gig, they fired the band leader.
Uh-oh.
This club was owned by a family in Boston, the DiCarlo family. That's all. And they fired Marty, the leader. And I forget when this happened. We were all sitting in the band room in between shows, and one of the sons came in and said, Marty's out of here. One of you guys are going to have to become the leader of the band.
Oh.
So, you know, Herbie didn't want to do it. That means people had to call up strings, and, you know, every week it was a different act, a different, you know, set of musicians.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden, all the eyes started turning at me, and I'm standing. I said, no. And they laughed. Ted, it's going to be Ted. You know.
Wow.
Back then, I wasn't known as Ted Howe. You know, I was Ted Domahowski. That's
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And Joey knew that, the club manager, he knew it. And he said, we can't put your name in the paper. It's too long. He said, and one of the guys in the back yelled, call him Ted Howe. So, you know, when he was Domahowski, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
That's how that started. So I became the damn band leader.
Wow.
A lot of responsibility, man, you know, calling up every time the acts changed, I'd have to change the band. Sometimes I'd have to bring in 15, 20 people. Sometimes it's just a trio. And so I grew up pretty fast when that happened.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Wow.
And then what happened was, this is a great one too. Then I'll let you speak once in a while here.
No, this is great, man. This is what I like. This is great. I love hearing the stories, man.
At the very beginning of it all, when I said I really didn't belong there, mainly because I hadn't played that many shows and I didn't know all those tunes, and Even if I knew them, I wasn't playing them right, you know?
Yeah, right, right.
I was maybe 3 or 4 weeks after he hired me and I was walking on a break in the back of the bandstand, and John Laporta, you know who John Laporta is?
Yeah, yeah, sure, of course. I didn't know him, but he came in. Just to break in for a minute, my teacher at Berklee was Dean
Earl.
Dean Earl, yeah. And I remember John Laporta came in one day when I was having my lesson, and they were talking about Jimmy Rolls. And I didn't know at the time who Jimmy Rolls was, but I later found out he became one of my heroes, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my encounter with John Laporta. That's the only time I ever was around him at all. But I knew who he was, you know.
Look, he loved him to death, man. We became very good friends, but he could be a real pain. He would get mad. He had a temper like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah.
And a few times he stood up with his fingers like this. He got really pissed off at me, you know, because I played so many wrong chords.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on a break, and I was walking in the back of the stage, and I saw him come walking towards me, walking pretty fast. And I moved to the right so he could walk by. This was a narrow corridor behind the stage, but he didn't. He stopped right in front of me.
Yeah.
And just got right in my face, and he went like this. You remember how John was like, "You can't play." He said to me, "You can't play. What are you doing here?" I mean, can you imagine? You know, then Herbie came walking down the hall, and he heard him because he was saying this pretty loud.
Yeah.
He got John to shut up and walk away, and Herb started patting him on the back, and I'm devastated.
Wow.
You know, it's all right, man. It's all right. He just gets it over. Yeah, but it's John, man. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I lose my gig at Berklee.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, it was hard to live with that. You know, I was scared to death of the guy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, I guess they talked to him, so he left me alone, and you know, I did learn his tunes, no problem.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of forgot about it. It was just like everything was okay. I kept getting better. A year went by, and we're playing 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you, with rehearsals on Monday when the acts change, you know.
Yeah. Well.
So about a year later, I'm walking down the same hallway in the back, and I see John, same place, walking right towards me. And I said, "Oh no."
Yeah.
What did I do? I think I didn't do anything. I said everything was fine. And he stopped me, and I said, "John," and he said, "No, I'm not going to yell at you." He said, "There's an opening coming up at the school for a piano teacher that can teach arranging and harmony and a couple other things, and I recommended you to the dean."
Wow.
I said, "What?"
Well.
You know, and he was banging me, "Man, you come a long way," you know. So
That's great.
3 days later, I got a call from the dean for an interview, and I got the gig.
What? Wait, I thought you were already teaching there, though.
No. Well, I mixed it up. No, I wasn't teaching there yet.
Okay, I got you. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
I got that a little out of sync with
That's okay. It's all right, man.
years. Yeah.
That's right.
And that's how that all started. That's how my career started, because of a sick piano player who couldn't
Yeah.
gig, and then of all things, meeting all these jazz guys who get the gig. Berklee started with an accordion play.
That's great, man.
Nothing to do with I get rhythm changes, you know.
Yeah, sure.
How did this happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's great, though, man.
And that's how I got my Frankie Randall gig. I
Yeah.
came in and had the place sold out for 2 weeks. It
Wow.
was a 600 to 700 seater.
Wow.
The manager called up one day and said he can't make it. His conductor has got pneumonia, and
Wow.
so we can't come without him. And then Joey, the club owner's son, said, "Oh, Teddy can do it." "What do you mean? Who's Teddy?" "Our bandly. Teddy can do it."
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't cancel. They weren't about to cancel him, you know.
Yeah.
But after whatever they said who knows what they said.
Yeah. Right.
And
They made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
yeah, so they mailed me the music and a tape of the show that they just did in Vegas. And you remember who Freddie Buddha was? Freddie Buddha, the Berklee.
I know the name. I don't know if I knew him, but
He also taught conducting there,
okay.
and he was also the drummer on the band that was
Okay.
So he said, "I'll give you some lessons. I can't teach you how to conduct, but I can teach you how to conduct this show, because they sent
Gotcha.
the music. And so we got to this room, and I worked with them for a day or 2 or 3 hours each shot in front of mirrors, doing this. And Frankie was nervous as hell, but we got through the charts, and I made a couple of boo-boos the first night, but nothing major.
Yeah.
And by Wednesday, I had it down, And then to wind up this era of my life, then Frank left, and was maybe 3 or 4 months later, I get a call from his manager in LA and said his conductor's quitting, is going with Nancy Wilson. How would you like to gig with Frankie?
Wow.
Same thing as like John Laporta. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna, So I had to think about that one, because I've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
But this is 1964 or 65, somewhere in there. And the gig paid $700 a week, plus all expenses, and $350 a week when I'm home. Now, that doesn't sound like much today.
No, that's a lot of money, man. Back then, I know.
Oh man, I had a 3,000 square foot house in a Boston suburb that I paid $20,000 for.
Yeah.
This was So I took it, and that's how I started my career, and wound up in Atlanta because of all the time I spent there in the Army.
Yeah.
And then Frankie played Atlanta. We actually played the club in the Hyatt. I forget the name of it now. And for a week, and then I got to know a lot of the Atlanta musicians when I moved there. I already knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
And back then, man, before I met you, Atlanta had a wonderful jazz scene.
Yeah.
It was just as nice and good as New York, but not as big.
Yeah.
Duke Pearson was still there, and all these piano players and horn players, and that's why I like it. Was like, to me, it was just like being home, because I was used to all this being around Berklee and being on that band with all those great musicians.
Yeah.
So it just was wonderful,
Yeah.
For the first 8 or 10 years. Then it started to change.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
But then I met you.
Then you met me, and it all went downhill. Yeah.
And then I got the gig at the Hyatt, leading the band at the Hyatt playing shows. Same thing as the Surf.
Oh yeah, cool, man.
Agency that booked it, heard me play around town, and the opening came open. The band leader retired, and I wound up over there doing shows again.
When were you doing that? About what year was that? Do you remember?
That was in the mid to late 70s.
Okay, about the time I met you, maybe.
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah. And then I also worked there in the Playboy Club. They had a Playboy Club downtown Atlanta on Lucky Street, and they had a showroom upstairs, again playing the shows.
What? Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then I did a lot of work with Mel Torme.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wasn't his principal guy. I was the guy that, if he couldn't get all the guys in LA or New York that he wanted to call me, because I worked with him with the Atlanta Symphony, and he liked the way I played, and they kept my number. And
Nice.
My agent used to call me up and say, "Did he do Chicago?" I wasn't traveling with him all the time. It just maybe worked 6, 7, 8 times a year, but it was fun.
Yeah, I bet. Wow.
Booked to play. He wrote most of the charts, and kind of an odd dude. Yelled at everybody like Buddy Rich.
Yeah, I heard about that. I've never known that. They called him Mel Torment. Right?
Yeah. Well, in our days with Frankie Randall, I got to know Buddy real well, because we did 2 or 3 different tours. And Buddy's band would open for Frankie.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Buddy would get off the drums, and at that time, Joe LaBarbera was with us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
I saw him with Bill. Bill, like in the last year of Bill's life, he played at the Symphony Hall in Atlanta. Got to see him play.
I was there too.
You were there, yeah.
And
I played with his brother Pat LaBarbera in the Savannah Jazz Festival once. That was fun.
The whole family is nuts.
Yeah, Pat was crazy.
The whole family was on Buddy's band at this time.
Wow.
John was playing third trumpet, and Pat was in the sax section, and Joe was, when Frankie's show was playing, Joe was playing drums. So all 3 brothers were in the same building, same place, playing with Buddy Rich's band. But I got to know him really well. I had dinner at his house a couple times, and Buddy fired the piano player, whoever the hell it was. He fired a piano player, and walked over to me one night after the show. He says, "Can you play the piano book till I find a piano player? And I said, yeah, but I mean, we did 3 shows a night there, man. We the
Wow.
last show at 3 in the morning.
Wow.
And Frankie's show was an hour. Buddy did about half hour, open up. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
And I said, you know, and he said, okay, good. And I said, I didn't say yes yet. And he said, I'll take care of you. And I said, okay. So I got to do that for, he must have heard 15 piano players. Cats were flying from all over wanting that gig, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I think Bill Cunliffe is the one that wound up with it. But I was about 2 weeks, I had to play both shows.
Wow.
It really killed me, man.
Wow.
But I got to know him really well. And even the guys in the band, you know, they don't know this stuff. I mean, he didn't talk like this around them. It was just a big put on. He'd scare the living hell out of them, you know,
Yeah.
and laugh.
Yeah.
That was just all show business, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just you know, putting the poor guys on. Some young trumpet player comes in, make his wife miserable, you know, scare him to death. You
Yeah.
know, it was all just a, you know, tongue in cheek. From what I know from sitting here.
Well, a tenor player that I was on the Artie Shaw band with was on Buddy's band for a minute, and he had one of those tapes of Buddy yelling at the band on the bus, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was pretty funny. So I'm going to stop the bus. You're off. I'm going to stop the bus. You know, you're off the bus, you know? And actually, I had a sight singing teacher at Berklee, and I was only at Berklee for 1 semester, you know, but I had the sight singing teacher. He said his buddy played electric bass and went on Buddy's band. And he said the first night on the band, they're playing some like outrageous fast tempo, you know. And he said, Buddy turns around and yells at him, "Relax, damn it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was something, man. Joe and I used to, the way the band was set up, they had him up on a riser, you know, the band was to his left. And he was right up against a big wall of curtain in the back of the stage. And Joe and I would go back there. We did it almost every night. Get a drink, and we would stand and open up the curtain about 3 inches, about like this.
Yeah.
And then look, we were looking right into Buddy's feet. We were right there. We're
Wow.
like 4 feet away.
Wow.
And when you see that, that's that from that angle, looking up into his, you know, under his hands,
Yeah.
rather than in the shot you see from above. There were times where all 4 split seconds of his appendages were off the ground.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
for a split second.
Wow. Wow.
But
Wow.
to watch that, man, was like freaky. You know,
Yeah.
it was really
Yeah.
freaky. Joe would go crazy. He would go, how the hell did you do that? You know, I mean, you can appreciate it more than me being a drummer. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's impossible.
He's levitating, man.
Yeah, but that was a lot of fun. I did that for about 5 or 6 years.
At the Playboy Club. This is the Playboy Club you're talking about.
No. This was traveling with Frank, and then
Oh, with Frankie. Right. Okay, sorry.
was working with Buddy's band.
Yeah. Wow.
Then Frankie get into some weird stuff, and drugs, and screwed himself up, and
Yeah.
Boston was just getting all dried up. There were no gigs. It was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, Berklee wasn't paying anything, so I got a chance to move to Atlanta. Like, friend of mine, you ever heard of Bill Huntington?
Yeah. Bass
Yeah.
player.
Great, fabulous bass player.
Yeah.
As good as anybody, believe me.
Yeah.
He had the gig at this place in Underground called the Banknote.
Great.
Yeah, down in Underground, the original Underground. not
Yeah.
the one it is now.
Right.
And I used to go in there and sit in when I was with Frankie.
Huh.
You know, the Hyatt was just a few blocks away. I'd walk over on a break and go in and play a tune. Remember Al Nicholson?
Yeah, of course, man. Art Beam, he was my buddy, man. I've been buddies with him for 40 years, man. You know?
Well, it was me and him and Bill had
Yeah.
that gig for a year, 6 nights a week.
Wow.
So I got to know everybody in Atlanta very quickly, because all the
Yeah.
musicians came down to hear us, and we
Right.
had sessions on Saturday afternoon. And within 2 or 3 months, man, I was, you know, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Doing commercials, writing charts for people, all the gigs I wanted, you know.
Yeah.
But on top of that steady gig, which was 6 nights a week, Sundays were off. But that's where I really spent a lot of time honing my jazz skills. You know,
Yeah.
because no shows around. You know,
Yeah. Right.
and,
Right.
but that's how I wound up, you know, into my adulthood, you know, just playing lots. I play with, I'm not bragging, but on my website, there's something like 65 or 65 named jazz people and singers that I've worked with in my career. You know, some I toured with, some I just did one nighters when they came to Atlanta, like the thing how I met Mel Torme. And a combination of a lot of different people, from famous comedians to song and dance men, you know, to people like Carol Channing and Carolyn May, you know, to like, you know, Joe Williams and Billy Eckstein and all of the jazz people too, you know.
Wow, yeah, that's cool, man.
And then I played all those Atlanta jazz festivals for years.
Yeah, yeah.
I played every one. I think I played the first one with my big band. When they put the first, I forget what year it was when they started the Atlanta Jazz Festival. So I was had my 20-piece bluegrass orchestra.
Yeah, I remember the bluegrass orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now I wound up here, you know, in LA. I've been here 17 years now.
Yeah, yeah. You're in LA.
Yeah.
Are you in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Wow,
cool, man.
You know much about LA? But no?
Not a lot. No, I've been there, but it's, you know, not much, you know.
And I'm kind of semi-retired now. I don't do a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
A lot of writing still for people, working on a second movie. I did a movie a few years ago, and you ever heard of Flying Lotus?
No.
No.
Is that a movie?
He's the world's foremost beat maker.
Oh, gotcha. I think I actually have heard that name. Yes.
Yeah, I'm working on a movie with him. He's directed and written the movie, working with him.
Cool.
He was one of my students for 5 years ago. I met him, started coming twice a week.
Well,
to learn how, you know, put more music into a show and other people do it for him. And I'm pretty good friends, man. I went to Japan with him and opened a show, 18,000 seater, which was really big.
That's amazing, man. Wow, yeah.
He's quite a guy. So I've learned an awful lot about hip hop, rap, all the new stuff that's around that guys are doing. Thundercat, you've heard of Thundercat, right?
Yeah, I've heard that name, yeah.
Yeah, him, he's on Lotus's label. And I got pretty friendly with him now. And I'm just, you know, just having some fun. I'm working on my book.
Oh, you're writing a book?
Yeah, I've been writing one for years, but I keep saying does the world need another jazz method book? You know, there's so much.
Yeah.
And after the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. The weirdness, I call it the weirdness. Yeah.
The weirdness, yeah. And after the pandemic, you know, musicians had nothing to do. They did all kinds of stuff to make money. And all of a sudden, the internet filled up with people with websites. Like Tony Winston in Atlanta, you know, it's got like 2 million people. You know, something like that, you know? Right. So I said to myself, do I really need to do this? You know, because I started writing it old-fashioned years ago, you know, just writing it out and doing things. And now got it mostly in the computer now, but still it's nice, it's good, it works. You've been through a lot of it already, stuff that I did with you, from open voice, the left-hand voicings, the scale, all the usual stuff.
Yeah, I use all that stuff that you taught me still, man.
So I'm still trying to figure out a way to put it out so it doesn't just get thrown in with all the other stuff.
Yeah, right.
Much of it out there. There wasn't a lot when Mark wrote his book, you know.
Yeah.
He was very lucky. He hit it just at the right time.
Right.
Other people say, "Oh, look what Mark did. Maybe I can do that." And
now there's a million of them. Yeah.
Someone else writes a book. So So I mean, I think I'm going to have to make my mind up soon because I'm getting older.
Thanks for checking out Notes on Jazz. If you want to communicate with me, I offer free consultations. Just check the podcast notes for a link. You can also find a link to my website for CDs, downloads, and videos. See you next time at Notes on Jazz.